What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you GLS content today. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Well, as you can see, still on vacation, but we did have a GLS town hall, and those are very few and far between, and I wanted to make sure that we covered some of the things that were in that town hall, at least of note. So once again, this is not a oh, excuse me. this is not a summary of the full town hall. There's usually, I believe, a summary put together for that, but it's just my 5 biggest takeaways from this town hall, and it looks like they're going to be trying to do them on a monthly cadence moving forward. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're just going to go off of my notes here. Biggest thing, and probably the most important, is the new timeline. So it does not look like that June 6th date is going to be hit. We may get some kind of team management up and running, which is going to be really cool because I'm excited for what the teams will be able to do as their own NFTs, but that's the second point. So we will get some kind of team management in the next few weeks, but it doesn't sound like the beta is going to be ready until sometime in mid-July. I know the team is saying like end of June, early July, but later on in the town hall, Aggie did say 6 to 8 weeks, and that really puts us around mid-July. So if that's when the beta drops, I don't know when the actual game will be, but from what they showed in terms of gameplay, it was cool, but it's still very, very far from being something that I think the team would consider polished enough, even at an MVP level, to release to us. So this is a game that hopefully will come out before the end of summer in terms of like the actual release. But for beta, you can probably expect another 2 months of just weirdness until mid-July. Although we will get team management, so that should be fun. Now, the cool thing about teams is that they will be their own NFTs. You'll be able to take the player cards, which are player NFTs, and stake them onto team NFTs. And so these will be created, and I think there's like even a level of customizability, maybe not initially, but in the future that you'll be able to do. And the way that teams work with GLG, I should say, Genesis League Goals, is going to be very different from Splinterlands. So with Splinterlands, you kind of need every card, or you want to have access to every card in order to, put forth the best team every single game. Whereas with GLG, Genesis League Goals, you're going to have a team that will slowly start leveling up. They'll have synergy together the more that they play together. And so I believe it's up to like 22 players, right? You got your starters, your reserves, your bench players. With all of that, it's going to be really exciting to put these together and start building a team, obviously, once that is available. But I just like the idea of teams themselves being NFTs, which you may be able to sell all together, right? Because you'll be able to put that experience in with them. Or you'll be able to rent them out as a team, and therefore they may perform better rather than renting out individual cards. So I actually think teams are going to be huge in GLG, and which I guess if you think about it, is pretty on point for a soccer/football game. So in a way, there's going to be a lot of theory crafting for teams outside of any of the variables that come in with each game, right? So, for example, if there's like different rule sets, and within GLG that could be like weather or injuries or something that happens, you may have those that come in, but that won't affect your team too much because you're going to be building your team synergy as you go along, finding the right players at the right positions, and then having them level up their individual experience as well as the overall team experience. So that was one of the bigger points from this town hall, and I don't know, it makes me excited because this game is going to be completely different from Splinterlands, and I think that's a great thing. Splinterlands is awesome as it is, but I don't want like a sports copy of it, like a soccer/football copy of it. So this is going to be its own thing. And I really think the teams element, or teams as NFTs, are going to be something fun to watch. Number 3, there was a little bit of a hint given for card combining, and it sounds as though we may see as high as 400 BCX needed for regular foil. Now, keep in mind that with these cards, with these player cards, there's no rarity, right? I think they didn't want to hurt player feelings, or there's probably just something there. So every card has different stats, but there's no like legendary, epic, rare, or common card. They just have regular foil and gold foil versions of them. And I don't quite know where the gold foil versions will be. They didn't give a specific number on that versus the regular foil, where they said it's going to be in the hundreds and then maybe even 400, which is kind of in line with what you would expect from common Splinterlands cards. So 400 is kind of where I'm at right now, or at least what I'm anchoring, which does make things a little expensive if you think about it. You only get 5 cards per pack. Each pack is at least $5. So, I'll probably do a separate video kind of covering that, but this is the first hint that we've gotten for card combining. And if you want to start, planning out your team and looking at the cards on the market, then you can get an idea for how many you may need. But I would still hold off on that. While I am very excited for this game, I'm not doing anything with it. I have my GLX staked. It's just doing its thing. I have my pack staked. They're just doing their thing. There has not been enough incentive for me to start building a team just yet. Although we'll see over the next couple of weeks if the team management thing does entice me to maybe open some packs or maybe jump into the market and start collecting some cards. Okay, number 4. This is interesting, but your team is going to gather fans as it goes along and starts winning more games. So fans are going to be like the ranking or rating system that Splinterlands has. I would hope that it's not going to be a carbon copy of it, because it sounds as though it's not going to be a carbon copy of it, but it sounds as though you can get fans from multiple different places, not just from playing games. So with that, I think it's really cool because obviously when you think about this from a sports context, your earning ability comes from how popular you are as a sports team, as a sports franchise. So if you're getting more fans, that means hopefully you should be earning more. So, this is kind of in line with the 5th item here. There will also be staking requirements for GLX, but also GLUSD and GLGT. We don't know what the details for any of that are, but the way that Aggie's making it sound, he wants to make sure that people are staked into the ecosystem in order to earn the highest amounts from the ecosystem. So going back to the fans section, I don't really know what that will look like, but I do like it as a way better thing than some kind of rating or some kind of weird leaderboard. If you can be the best team or the best franchise out there, right? You put together your team, you're playing in whatever, ranked, not ranked battles, but ranked games that they come up with. And or if there's like tournaments or different special kinds of competitions that can be, under kind of a sports banner rather than something like a Splinterlands Arena banner. I think the fans are going to be a great way where you can do a lot more, not just with playing the game, but with different elements within staking or items, or just I don't know. I'm really looking forward to how that is fleshed out in a way that is very different from Splinterlands, but obviously with that inspiration. And then coming back down to number 5, with SPS staking requirements for Splinterlands right around the corner, or at least they were just recently announced in the most recent town hall, I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen with GLX. We don't have those numbers just yet, but it's no surprise that GLX is going to be a requirement, or staking GLX is going to be a requirement. Probably not a hard requirement, but there will be something there in order to help those earn, or in order to earn and maximize your earnings. I think the interesting thing was also seeing GLUSD and GLGT being included, which, if you think about it, is not necessarily surprising considering that we are going to get DEC staking on land for Splinterlands with 1.5 hopefully later this year, and then we are going to get voucher staking with any guild upgrades that happen later this year. So with asset prices and token prices just bleeding left and right, I'm not surprised that we're going to see hopefully more utility right off the bat for GLG, considering that stadiums aren't even a thing yet, although it sounds like stadiums might just be around the corner in terms of the conceptualization of it. I think they want to try and start talking about stadiums in the next kind of sprint for them, so not the end of this 10 weeks, but we'll probably say sometime between mid-June and August. But that's for later, and I really hope that we're not going to get into a position where they're selling stadiums before the game is even out. I think we need to get the game out before any of that other stuff happens. But that is the 5 major things for me from this town hall. I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. Again, I'm really excited for this game. I'm obviously very disappointed about the fact that it is not coming out as soon as we were hoping. I had June 6th kind of pegged in my calendar, but that is all I have. Hopefully we'll get this, good news sooner rather than later, but I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.